Jimmy's Jam Box. Keep jamming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And with that being said, here's a quick word about our sponsor. Mellow Mint, a bright and refreshing blend of Pacific Northwest grown peppermint and spearmint, paired with high-quality CBD hemp that's not only delicious, but helpful with digestion. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out the Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below. Getting ready for the holiday time. You're definitely going to want to pick something up. But now, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Yo, it's Kueso.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little... Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're from, what you do, give us that like Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Absolutely. I'm based out of Portland, Oregon, and I do security, which has become just an amazing opportunity for me to be even more of an artist.
That's amazing. Yeah, I bet. That's a lot of like long hours and low activity. Mm-hmm. At least as far as like, hopefully, you know, you want low activity in an evening. So I imagine you have a lot of time to write.
Yeah, so basically with my schedule, after I knock out my patrol every hour, I'll go back up to like my unit or my site, if you will. Mm-hmm. And man, I'll just start playing all types of samples, all type of instrumentals, and I'll just start cramming whatever I can.
Have you ever thought of buying like an SP404 and just like doodling your own beats?
Dude, if I got to do that, man.
I mean, they're accessible, and I think they're battery powered now.
Hey. Watch out, because
if y'all are selling an SP404 to MK2.
Got you. No, what's actually really cool is, so I was doing that for a while, and then I actually just have recently got the opportunity to get a promotion. So now I'm working remote.
Okay. Wait, how do you do security remotely? Or do you not do security anymore?
Well, now I'm an account manager.
Okay. So you're I get it now. I was like, what, you just, hey, I'm watching.
So basically, really cool opportunity when I was overseeing one of the sites, got really cool with my supervisor, and he just always, you know, looked out for me, and just had a really cool opportunity of just being like, instead of being at the site and, you know, basically making music, now you could be at home, and as long as you're perfect and making sure these sites are good. Now I'm at home playing instrumentals, so... Hell yeah.
So yeah, you were in the perfect setting to do it.
I couldn't be more grateful, honestly, at this point. I feel like universally, I kind of like manifested this, you know, just kept asking and kept, you know, just meeting also the universe halfway, putting in that work and just being like, I want to find something that gives me that freedom, that gives me that little bit of time to be able to actually work on what I love.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that, the meeting the universe halfway. There's a mentality that was introduced to me once by a gentleman named Dragon. Somebody I used to work with. That's his real name. It's Dragon.
I'm so
jealous. One of those. Yeah. And we worked in sales. It was commission based, and so, you know, everybody's like, oh, how do you get so lucky? How do you get so lucky? You're always doing all these things, doing all this stuff. Like, yes, he was super knowledgeable.
Right.
But like, how did he get all these big sales all the time? Oh, you're so lucky. And he was just like, no, I prepare to be lucky. Because you can't be lucky. Luck is literally the randomness of chance. But if you create every opportunity for random to occur, then it's no longer a 20-sided dice, it's a 6-sided dice, because you took out the excessive variables of improbability. So I think that they feel very correlative. The meeting the universe halfway, preparing to be lucky. Those are, you can create opportunities to succeed as long as you're always trying to create opportunities for success. So that's right. And that's awesome.
You can't be, you know, just to piggyback off of what you're saying, you know, you can't expect life to give you opportunities if you're just inside.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, I've grown to this, I feel like is a kind of a beautiful mindset, if you will, of just like, when you have like a goal, when you have a dream, you know, like that's the beginning of the manifestation. That's, you know, like the visual of it. But at the same time, it's kind of like while you're digging at that mine towards that gold, you have to, you know, keep in mind that you have to be putting in that work, and that's you digging, you know, you just keep digging, and that's the journey, you know. And a lot of people miss the beauty in that it's
can't see the forest through the trees.
At times it's gonna be rough. At times you're gonna be like, but the universe is kind of holding that gem for you. You know, if you just keep digging, meet it halfway. But if you just give up on it and go, no, I'm not gonna do it, or you just go, it'll come to me. If I'm lucky, or if that blessing comes, you know, like that's not the point.
No,
the point is to keep digging at it, to enjoy the journey, enjoy the grittiness of it, enjoy every aspect of it. Because once you hit that gem,
exactly,
and once you look back at that journey, you'll see that like the true gem was the journey, was going through all those experiences, those lessons.
Well, I would say the achievement becomes the journey,
right,
and not the object, the end goal. The end goal is once you've earned all the achievements, once you've gotten to that, like you've done all the things that are mentionable. Right. And I mean, you know, oh God, T-Pain just got an award for something the other day, and we'll talk about him more in a minute. But yeah, his speech was incredible. Right. How he's just like, man, you're already doing it. You know what I mean? Like you and I was having I guess it's a congruent thought, but I was having a different thought earlier, and I was just thinking about how there's this constant narrative of like, man, I'm so excited to see where you go. I'm so excited to see what you're doing. I can tell that you're going to get to this place. You're going to do that. What's wrong with being excited about right now? Like, yes, like I have goals for the show, but I am so happy with the now.
And
like,
you already have the trophy.
Yeah, exactly. Like every day is a successful day.
Right.
And I would rather have 100 successful days than one successful moment.
Right.
Like that just, you know, personally feels good.
And what stood out to me was like, what I love the most is him just saying, be you unapologetically. And, you know, obviously you could see the surface level of it, but as you like really dive into that and just try to live that, like really be your true you unapologetically. Don't even wake up in the morning and allow that thought to hit your mind of like, oh, should I need to drag my foot today? Like, no, just be you to the truest form.
Exactly.
Unapologetically, and watch how many beautiful things just hit you.
Exactly. Oh yeah. All right, but let's go ahead. Let's keep going on the actual interview a little bit. I'm excited to see how often we tangent for this one. This is going to be a lot of fun. Who are some of your early musical influences?
Early music influences. I would say, now when we say early, how early are we talking? Like childhood?
Let's say when you started creating music. So when you got to a point where you were making music, who were some of the people who inspired you?
Chance the Rapper.
Okay.
Andre 3000.
Okay.
And J. Cole.
Okay. Quality list for sure. Sure.
Right at that fourth, really like blend the three would be Kendrick.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't think you can list those names without acknowledging Kendrick as well. You know what I mean? Like there's just that, like, that's just the echelon. You know what I mean? That's such a congruent group of like that particular talent.
Right.
Hell yeah. And then this next one is one we ask early. It's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite.
Okay.
What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
This might surprise you a little bit.
Okay, I'm ready.
The Chopped and Screwed T-Pain album.
Okay. Oh yeah. So this may come as news to you.
I'm talking about Ringleader.
This show is a huge fan of T-Pain. This whole show. Everybody who runs this show, huge fan of T-Pain.
Huge fan?
Huge fan.
Oh yeah. See, I knew we would already be getting along.
Hell yeah. So y'all official guest of the year. No, I'm kidding. We'll leave that to a vote later. But yeah, no, big fan, phenomenal artist. But I have a whole episode in the audio only platform dedicated. Like it was like my first artist focused episode. And it was T-Pain. So I'll share the link with you after.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Genius.
Hell yeah.
Genius. T-Pain, if you ever see us, genius.
Be on the show. Come be on the show, T-Pain.
Right here.
Everybody at T-Pain in the comments. Let's make it happen.
I'm going to add you.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, T-Pain, I remember to this day, because this is when they were putting out all the new iPods. And so
the
iPod Nano, the iPod, I forgot, but it was the big square one. It was like right before the touch came. And I had the smallest little cube one.
Yep, the shuffle.
Yes, the shuffle. Oh man, Mom, if you see this, hilarious. I remember because of Christmas, I was like, hey, can I get an iPod? You know, trying to go to school with my iPod.
You know, I'm going to be honest, the shuffle's kind of hit.
I was not going to lie, I was going to kind of get to that. Like, I really was mad at first until I was rocking with my shuffle. And I was like, I don't think y'all realize. Click, click. Yeah, that skips the song. Like, I was like, yeah, you see this little square? It does just as much as that thing right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like the lack of screen, the choice to have to listen to what you hear, like basing entirely off your ears. There's an element of simplicity that I think that we, you know.
And I don't know if you did it on purpose, but like whenever I did my iTunes like songs, I would set them up in a certain way. So like, especially, once I had that playlist going, I was like,
oh yeah, you were in it. You were in it.
Don't let me put that earbud in your ear. I'm like,
yep.
Hey, this next skip.
It was the ultimate mixtape.
Now that you really think about it.
Yeah. And you could like, what a flex it would have been. Man, we missed it. Oh, I just realized we missed an opportunity. Could you imagine like when they got cheaper, just buying one, filling it up and give it to someone and be like, yo girl, I made this for you.
Yo.
And they could just listen to it anywhere. They could just plug headphones in, bing, bang, boom.
And you put the playlist together. Hey, man.
Yo, actually,
I'm actually hella mad.
Plot twist. I'm going to give you an idea on here that only happens until your episode comes out before other people take it.
Okay.
Go buy up all the old ones and put your next album on it.
And the only way you can get is if you purchase it. You know what? But no, yeah, so I had ran all the way home because I had got a phone call that we had for gifts, got a bunch of iTunes gift cards. And so I ran home and was like, I need to put this playlist together. And it's actually funny you say that advice, because there was this girl I had this crush on, so I was like, okay, I need to put this like super dope playlist together. And so I was like going through all this new music, and then all of a sudden the T-Pain album popped up. And I was like already a big T-Pain fan. Yeah. But when I saw the cover, I don't know if you remember the cover.
Oh, I remember the cover. I remember the cover.
When I saw the cover and he had the hat on, like that time by itself.
That was a lawless time in music, first of all. Everybody was doing the most.
Yes.
The most.
Now, I'm talking about people had their hat like this. And like, you know, that was already one thing. But then you have him coming with the ringleader circus hat on. You're like,
well, and the dude's big. He's a big guy.
Right.
And that's a big hat. So it's a big hat on a big guy. And then later he had a big ass chain.
Right.
Which literally, like,
glasses.
Yep.
And everything.
Yeah. Just every, like, he should have been on that one Manny Fresh song.
Right.
Like, also, shout out Manny Fresh. If you want to come on the show,
shout out Manny
Real
Fresh.
Big is still a banger. All three of the versions.
Banger.
All three. There was a censored version. There was a less censored version. And then there was the uncensored version. And I thought the less censored version was the uncensored version until I heard the album version, which was uncensored.
I might have to go check that out.
Oh my God.
Truly uncensored?
It's truly uncensored. It almost makes the song less good. It's just like it because it's in the hook. It's in the hook, and you're like, ooh. I got so used to saying the other version.
Gotcha.
So just a fun twist. There is such a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you listen to Roll Call by Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, they went the other way. They just did it so much
that you just
can't.
Yep.
Like you can't love it, but you almost can't hate it. but it's just it's just so far to one side that you just don't get an option. Like it's the whole song. It's the whole song. It's a very like I can't say the word that they say. I think 152
like
times.
To the window to the wall, right? That's
it's much worse. Much worse. Like I said, there's a particular word that I'm not allowed to say, and they say it, I think, 152 times.
It's the count for me. How many?
Again, I don't remember exactly, but it's over 150 for sure.
God.
I had to count. I had to count. Again, it's roll call.
I feel like we have a bunch of like lists of things you're going to show me after this. We might have to put up roll call after this.
Okay. We'll definitely add it to the list for sure.
But yeah, no, I had put this compiled playlist together, and the minute I heard the first T-Pain song, I was like,
that's it.
This is going to be the first one on the playlist. And I remember putting the whole thing together, but I had like little parts of the album being broken down. So it'd be like his first song, then it'd be like a couple just random songs.
Okay, so you were seeding the whole album in there, just sneaking it in.
And then, I remember we're at the playground. I was like, hey, yo, put this little earbud in your ear.
Okay.
So playing the album a little bit. And then a couple of the filler songs, I'm not gonna lie on the show. They weren't really that good. So I felt it starting to go down a little bit. And then as soon as that T-Pain kicked back on, it was like, hey,
there was game.
So,
yep.
Shout out
game
to
back
you.
on.
You saved me a couple times.
Hell yeah. Nope. Actually, I'm gonna save the story for after the show. I have a fun one to tell you after.
Okay.
But let's keep moving on this. One more foundation question before we get into the now, and just because it always follows the album one. What was the first live show you ever went to? That was like one you wanted to go to.
First live show was the first artist I named with Chance the Rapper.
Hell yeah.
And
hell yeah.
That to this day, I couldn't say I had a greater experience for my first concert.
I could only imagine. That's got to be such a... Do you remember what tour it was?
Coloring Book.
Okay. Yeah. I could 100% believe that being an incredible first show.
He was also going back and forth from the Coloring Book album also into his acid rap.
Okay.
Album, but he was pulling like the songs that kind of went with the same message of the Coloring Book. But man, he had the gospel in the back. He had even the characters from like he later on like kind of explained in the concert that these were like kind of creatures that like he created when he was on his acid trip. But I've never, and I haven't really been to a whole lot of concerts, so I can't really say it like with super emphasis, but just enough.
I mean, Chance definitely has a production to his live shows.
That show was like, I was in there crying at one point because like I've never had a feeling of like seeing so many people go from like super up and happy to, like even to like, I don't want to say it's a sad song, but just an emotional song.
Yeah.
Seeing so many people drop to that like emotion, all feel each other. And it was just like, at one point you could like, if you zoomed out, you could just see it like everyone just had their focus on him. But it was like, it was just beautiful. He was using affirmations, but then like preaching and then going into his verse. And I was like, dude, you're just so...
Yeah, just incredible.
You're incredible.
Just incredible.
So, just like how you shout out T-Pain, shout out you, Chance.
Hell yeah.
You need to be over here too.
If you want to be on the show, for sure.
Right?
For sure. Y'all are going to have a lot of ats by the end of this episode, I think.
All right. A lot of tags.
But now, let's go ahead and let's get on into you as the artist, the here and the now. And we're going to get the super easy one out of the way. How did you pick your name?
It's going to come with a backstory too.
That's okay. These 50-50 don't.
So, Kueso came from... So, I have a friend. I won't say his nickname. I'll spare him on this one.
Okay.
But he started this. So, he had a nickname, and anytime we went out, people really called him by his nickname. And so, I know him by his real name. So, I'm like, I'm calling him by his real name, but it wasn't until one night. It's one thing when, I see a couple fellas do it, but then this girl came up and she knew his name, but called him by his nickname.
Interesting.
And so I don't think he goes by it anymore. So actually, I'm kind of cool. She was like, "Where's Don at?" And I'm like, "You know, it's not his name, right?" And like, she looked at me so serious. And like, it was that night. I was like, "Hey guys, I think I need like a nickname. I don't know why, but I think I need one." And I couldn't find one.
I think the golden rule is you're not allowed to give yourself a nickname.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think nicknames have to come from the ethers, from the situations.
And that's what was like, I was just forcing it. And I was like, yo, I need to figure out a name. And then one day, same dude was like, "Hey, yo, I ever thought about Kueso? Like, I don't know why. I feel like you can go for that." And I was like, "Nah."
Hold on. Did you look him in the face and go, "Nah, I think that's cheesy"?
No, when I think about it, I probably should have.
I get one dumb joke a week. That was
the one.
Y'all don't know when the weekends are begin, so that's fun for me. But yeah, that was my one for this week. You're welcome.
But we went out that weekend, and he was like, "I guarantee someone calls you it though." And I was like, "If they do, I'll go by it." And literally, I was so annoyed because we were sitting in like a little circle, and I know where someone's like, "Kueso," and I was like, "Nope, there it is.
There it is.
There's my nickname." Yep. So for all you guys wondering, that is the true original of where my name came from.
Okay.
After that, I took the Q off, put the K, because my own personal name, and then got Kueso.
Hell yeah. Well, hey, that's the way to do it. If you ever wanted to spin it, you could always just do the letter K and then dash and then SO, and you could be like K-so.
Oh. See, I might have a little brand on me now.
There we go.
K_so.
There we go. So yeah, that I don't think anybody can take that. So that's yours. For sure.
I like that. Yeah. Hey, and it's on here. It's on all these cameras. So if you try to steal it,
we have documented proof. I don't know how patenting works. You may have to look into that one, but I think you're good.
Got you.
All right, but now let's go ahead and let's get into your writing process. Let's talk about making music. Right. And we're going to go in parts, but we're going to start right at the beginning. So when you get inspired, so you want to make music, we're going to put you in this, paint this picture. You are a person who wants to make music in this moment. What are some of the first things you do when you start making a song?
First thing I start to do is I start to think of what's the concept, what's the message that we're getting, and message doesn't have to necessarily always be something super deep. It could be like, hey, are we having fun? Are we, are we talking about something more deeper? Are we, doing something like clubby? Like what's the vibe? What's the concept? And when I feel like once I kind of have that locked down, then I'll kind of start thinking of like, okay, what's the melody now? What's kind of like the sound I'm hearing? And most of the time, like, I can kind of already have like a sound kind of hitting me, and kind of start to piece together, okay, like, do I want to have like something singing going on right here? Do I want to have something like right here? Like right here, I kind of hear something like kind of rough. So like, and then I'll start to kind of just play with that and kind of just start to put together those templates, if you will, of just, here goes the hook. And sometimes it won't fall in the place that I once did at first of like, oh, I'm gonna do in the beginning. Somewhere in writing, I might be in the middle of this the instrumental and be like, no, it's gonna go here actually.
Yep.
But whenever I get inspired, those are kind of the first steps I go through of just, really visualizing my concept and then starting to really go down of, where are these melodies sounding like, where are these sounds that I'm trying to put together. Because it kind of is like an analogy, if you will, of SpongeBob running through the field with jellyfish. I feel like for me, it's like I have all these like words and melodies that hit my head, and it's just now I'm just in the field, kind of just trying to catch them.
Okay,
put them down and put them together.
Okay, hell yeah, I love that. And then once you get a song finished on paper, so you've written it, it's written, you could start practicing it, it's good to go as the song. How long does it take you to get to that, from that point to being able to perform a song? Like, when do you feel comfortable doing it on stage?
To be honest, I feel like I'm comfortable right when I go and record the song, because it's kind of been my own personal training. But whenever I am writing a song, I'm always practicing it. I'm always reciting it.
Oh yeah, it always gets stuck in your head to a degree.
And then to a point where once the song is finished, like I said, even before then, I already know the song all the way down. But once the song's in, especially, like, I could go anywhere on not even the same beat and recite the whole song, you know. And so yeah, by the time the song's actually completed, like I'm already ready to go somewhere or to another location and, you know, perform it.
Okay.
Because, you know, I already have it mastered down from writing it and reciting it so many times.
Yeah. Now, do you usually, like, once you're done recording it, will you go and perform it and like have the recording come out later? Do you like to wait until the new song comes out on a platform before you'll perform it? How do you usually approach that part of it?
It kind of depends. It's kind of been a journey that, you know, I'm kind of allowing myself to just be present and allow it to be new. You know, sometimes I'll kind of catch myself being like, no, I really want to see this all the way through as far as it being done, being mastered and everything before I even, you know, think to present it as far as, you know, performance ready or, you know, visual ready. And then, you know, just recently I had put like a freestyle up on my page and that's not even mastered.
Yeah.
You know, I just, it was the feeling more of anything. And just, like I was saying, just allowing myself to be in that present and being like, you know, some songs I may feel like, you know, need that extra to it. And then some of them I'm like, hey, yo, like, this is cool how it is.
Yeah, this is like the vibe. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that. And then looking at your current music, so stuff you've been working on recently, stuff you just put out, like, think of the now of your sound. What are some things about your current sound that you enjoy? Like, what are the attributes that like stand out to you specifically?
Ooh. Okay. I would say now, I'm loving this tone that's kind of coming upon myself of for a long time I kind of like had this like humble attitude of like, oh, like I love music so much I need to kind of be like delicate and just treat it with so much respect. And it's like part of being in the industry is understanding, you know, you are your worst critic. And at the end of the day, you are going to place yourself in everyone's hearts, basically, like how you communicate, how you come out, how you kind of like what you were saying earlier, like that's all up to you. And with this kind of new wave that I'm hitting, I feel like the main attribute that I could say is just kind of hitting this like new wave of like grittiness and creativeness where I'm just catching myself having fun playing with my tone and voice and not feeling like I need to be super humbled and just being me unapologetic. You know, and so at times like if I'm in the studio and I'm like, hey, yo, I kind of hear something crazy right now. Like I don't want to just be like calm and be like, oh, da 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 da. Like I kind of want to yell right now.
Yeah, you want to pop off.
I want to like get jumpy. Like that's kind of the new that I'm kind of enjoying right now. It's like being in that moment of like testing and enjoying that. Hey, let me hear that real quick. Hey, hold on, that actually didn't sound too bad. Hey, let's try this real quick. I'm enjoying that so much because that's like the purest level of creativity to me.
The process. You gotta love the process.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. And it's funny you say that, like, because I don't know, I just grabbed all your tracks and just hit play right from the top of what was available. So like it was a little more out of order for me, but a recurring element of your sound that really stood out to me is the fact that you have a presence of voice, like your actual voice, the tonality, the way that you enunciate and the way that you present. It feels very not like just placed on top, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like lost in it. It has a cadence that ties well to what's on top of it. There's an attention to detail that's very clear in your music, just even on random at shuffle, it's an element of your approach. So it's nice that you acknowledge that as well, because that means it is intentional and it's clearly translating through. No, so I'm excited to see what comes next. Hell yeah. And then for this next one, this is the last one of the artist focus portion.
Okay.
But this is the densest question of the interview for sure. So we've talked a lot now about like the things that happen from music, the mentalities of music, the approaches and this and that. But when it's just you making music, so you in the process, what does music give back to you?
Freedom. music allows me truly to be in a place where I don't hear other voices. I don't hear anything. I just can be in one of the most beautifulest and purest kind of forms of just pure joy, pure happiness, and peace. And what music has allowed for me is to not feel like I need to kind of run to people with your problems and your doubts and your thoughts and all that. Sometimes the best thing is to just run to that notepad and and
use that energy
and be able to actually pour out, and again, not be in a judge space and not feel like you have to say a certain way or say it in a certain wording. Like, what music has done for me is just allowed me to be me, and just that freedom for real.
Oh yeah, it even sounds like it's allowed you to like expand on you. Like, I feel like you, from the way you talk about it, I feel like you grew into you through your music.
Oh, absolutely. At certain points, I kind of went through the journey that I feel like a lot of people can connect with, of like, you're going through the what's hot, and you're going through the what do I want to be, and even when you kind of first start in music, you have this big goal and dream, and it changed for me. When I first started, I had like this huge, and now that I look at it, just crazy dream, and even think about what the journey would look like was just crazy.
Yeah, it was almost unfathomable because you can't see the steps.
Yeah, and it's like, now that I actually went through the journey of making some tracks and putting them out, and going through that vulnerability of them being put out and stuff like that, it was kind of like, no, I kind of found this new sense of sound and this new kind of wave that hit me of like, no, I actually don't want to do it like this. And for the longest time, like, I wanted to be this big hot shot that came in and just kind of took the game over, and like, I still plan on doing that, but I'm going to do it my way. Yeah. And I realized my way wasn't the way that I was portraying at one point. The way that I have now is my true way. And I feel like through me making those, my tracks nowadays and the songs that I'm making, like, it's developed so much into that of, that's what I'm pushing now, is that peace of mind. Whenever you listen to one of my songs, it's that positivity. I want to see people be uplifted. I want to see people be impacted. I'm not really too worried about the accolades. I don't really care. Like, I hope I can free my mom and my family, but at the end of the day, I find more fulfillment when I see a message of someone being like, hey, yo, I listened to your song and it put a smile on my face today, or it made me want to get after it today. It made me want to, change my approach to something like that. That's gold.
Oh yeah. I have a question.
Okay.
And if this question touches too deep, you can choose not to answer it. But I've noticed there's an interesting duality in your narrative, which is very internal. There's an internal element of your approach that it's been very much a journey. It's very like metamorphic even. But there's this external element of reception, of people experiencing your music and reacting to it, that you've definitely brought up a few times. It seems to be a recurring element of focus. When you were growing up, did you have a lot of interaction, or were you a little more standoffish?
I was the class clown, being everybody's face.
Okay, so you were very animated, but some of it you would say maybe was not like controversial per se, but it was meant to incite to some degree. It was meant to make a reaction.
Yeah.
So when you were younger, you would act with hope for or reaction.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Okay, so that is still there in a way, but now you're taking that and using it to build in and on yourself instead of pushing it outwards at people.
Yeah, and allowing myself to kind of just be more authentic and honest. When I was younger, I was kind of, looking for like that approval and looking for that, like, you know, reciprocation back of like, you know, do you see me? Do you see what, like, that I'm funny? Do you see that I'm like fun and loyal and I'm this cool guy?
Yeah.
But like now it's kind of like I know that about myself already, and I know
the confidence. I think that's a great way to like kind of wrap the concept up, is that as a child, we didn't have confidence.
Right.
It's something you can only learn. And, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, the class clowns, the loud, verbose ones are the ones with it. Really, they're not. They're trying to understand human reaction and how to interact as people, but still show up as yourself. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's cool that you've been able to break down the process of that experience throughout the point of the duration of this conversation thus far, because I think that's a narrative that not a lot of people focus on. A few people in past episodes have brought up, you know, oh, as a child I was quiet and reserved, so I used this as my way to speak out. Mm-hmm. But I don't think a lot of people acknowledge that even if they weren't the quiet, reserved one, music can be a way to repurpose that energy. It can take that unbridled, uncontrollable like depth of person that you just can't quite grasp, and it funnels it into a way to present yourself to the world. So that's a really cool insight. I appreciate you kind of going down that road with us.
Absolutely. And I think you touched on a cool point just now, even within that I kind of felt need to relate to, touch base on, of just like going through that motion and going through all that. It kind of placed within myself making those songs, making those tracks, making music in a way allowed me to talk myself through my issues. You know, now I think about it. And you know, when you kind of have that class clown mindset as a kid and all that, it's kind of like a hear me, see me kind of attitude. Yeah. And I feel like, again, piggybacking off of your great point, like through me making music, like I kind of allowed myself to hear myself. So much to a point that I've heard myself.
Yeah. You don't need other people to listen anymore, but you're okay if they do.
Yeah. And it's more like, I want you to hear this part of me now because I've gone through all the BS. Yeah. I've gone through.
Let me rephrase my statement then. You want people to hear you. You just care more about what they hear. Hell yeah. Oh, this has been really cool. Like, wow. I really break element of the show to like acknowledge that, but this has been a very like insightful narrative. I'm almost bummed we have to move into the hypothetical questions now, but let's go ahead. Let's move into the hypothetical questions. And these are all sky's the limits. They're all made up, so there's just no wrong answer.
Got you.
And this first one, it's pretty baseline. It's a general hypothetical question, but if you could work with any one person, they just have to be alive, but it doesn't have to be a musician. It just has to be a human being that's alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Let me get ready for this one. Been working on this one for a long time now. If I could work with anybody, it'd be Ice Cube.
Okay.
And I would. It's kind of up in the air for anything. I feel like he is just such an OG genius. Yeah. And there's just so much that I feel like I would learn. And just enjoy being around him. But whether it be a movie, whether it be a song, I mean, if we're really being real, it'd be a song that I would want to do.
Oh, of course.
But whether it be a documentary or anything, I just feel like being around him and just being able to hear his stories and stuff like that is just always something I've always been like, I'm going to make happen.
I feel like given his acting background too, I bet he is just an awesome conversationalist. Like, I feel like when he tells the story, he does it with like the same animation, the same facial aspects. Like, I bet you when he gets hyped about something, it's the most hyped in the room.
And I guarantee you when he's talking like some shit about something, it's
yeah. I bet he shows up incredibly enthusiastic about the things he gives a shit about. Like, all right, Ice Cube, if you want to be on the show.
If you want to be on this show.
Let's make it happen. Comments. Let's do it. I'm excited for the paragraph of ads that are going to happen in these comments. All right. And then subsequently, because the other one was if you could work with anybody in the world, but subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of? They're on your radar. You know they exist, but you haven't gotten a good chance to connect with, but you would like to.
Pisces.
Okay.
I love his sound. He kind of gives me like this like 2000s like Justin Timberlake sound.
Yeah.
And like it's just so like unique and like its own sound that like I've just
Hell yeah.
I've been wanting to work with him for sure.
Hell yeah.
So Pisces, if you see this,
add it to the list, y'all. Let's make it happen. All right. And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits. And this one's quite literally. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and it doesn't have to be a venue, it can be anywhere, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access, building stability, power, guaranteed best lineup, guaranteed best show, where would you want it to happen?
2 spots I could think of off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Moda Center. And I don't know if they've even done it before, but they definitely have Convention Center.
Okay.
I'd want to keep it Portland based. I want to, my dream is to throw one of the biggest events in Portland.
Okay.
And truly, to a lot of the people who have been, here since Yay High and all that, like I want to give that true backstory that a lot of people can relate to of just like where Portland came from. Yeah. And we're not just keep Portland weird. Yeah. We're like there's a beauty behind that saying as well, but there's so many beauties to Portland that nowadays people didn't get to fully see and experience that I just through my music and through my show I'd want to show people that and allow people to enjoy that and feel like even though I wasn't there in that moment, I get to feel a part of that when I'm at Kueso's show.
Oh yeah. Well, PDX Fest 2024. Oh, yeah. Let's make it happen.
It's coming to you.
Oh yeah.
It's called the Cook Up.
Oh, okay. You've already got a name. Good.
Yeah.
I'm stealing PDX Fest then.
That's that's yours.
That's mine now.
PDX Fest and Cook Up coming your way.
Hell yeah. All right. Now we've got one last hypothetical question.
Okay.
And this one, the rules are a little bit different. So for this one, you can pick anybody. They could be alive. They could be dead. They could not be a musician at all. They could make a million things. They could have put out something yesterday. They could have put something 1,000 years ago. But if you could get one album or one more album from anybody, live or dead, who would you want an album from?
Ooh, that is so hard. Okay. I think I got it. Can it be 2?
Sure.
I was about to say, that's so hard, and they're both passed. So sorry. R.I.P. I wish you guys were here. One of them's DMX. I wish so bad I can get one more DMX album. And this might be a shocker, people, but Pop Smoke.
Okay.
I wish I could have got one more Pop Smoke album. Not people trying to piece it together.
This in this concept, it would be a full production of their work.
I want a full production Pop Smoke album.
Damn, that's a good answer.
I feel like he had an album coming for people that they just weren't ready for.
Yeah.
Because he was like the nearest thing to like 50 Cent as far as like, they even made that comparison of the two, but like he just had that that energy and that embodiment so early that I was like, oh no, he's gonna bring an album that's gonna shake something up, and that's just R.I.P. Pop Smoke. That's one person I would have wanted an album from for sure.
That's a really good answer. Also, just because you said every time somebody mentions 50 Cent, I have to mention this. Somebody said this, and I have to run with this narrative, so I'm gonna keep saying it till the cows come home. 50 Cent was bringing us such melodic music at the time. And nobody appreciated it the correct way.
Nobody.
No. Like that man was just out here doing the most. And we just did not give him that at the time.
No.
I really hope there's any kind of resurgence for him, just enough to bring people back to that. Because just bangers. All of them were bangers.
After he hung upside down, at that performance, I think the newer crowd of people kind of didn't receive that the best way.
Fair.
But like you're saying, if you guys tap back into like the early 50 Cent, this is game.
Yeah.
And like he wasn't just someone who just talked it. Like you could go on any podcast that talk about 50 Cent. No, like he did this.
He did it. Yeah. Yeah. He was about it. He was from start to finish.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. Like people did not grasp and get to appreciate prime 50 Cent like they should have.
All right, last at 50. If you want to be on the show,
50, man. Come on,
let's do it.
Come on, let's not window shop this, okay?
Okay, that was yours for the week. That was you. All right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start wrapping this up. Why don't you tell us what you have coming up in the future, say the beginning of 2024? What can we look forward to?
Well, surprise. I have an EP coming out.
Okay.
And I'll decide to drop it on this because this will be a shocker and surprise to everybody. But go ahead and tap into Apple Music and Spotify after New Year's.
Okay, y'all. Be ready. That's going to be in a couple weeks after this comes out for sure.
And I should be having a nice long little EP for you guys to listen to for the beginning of the year.
Hell yeah. Definitely looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
After you drop it, if you want to come back and talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll definitely set up an episode for that. I feel like that'd be a really fun one.
Oh, yeah. And we'll have to kind of brainstorm on the show if you want to some ideas for some visuals because you seem like you got some pretty some ideas on yourself too. It might be a fun idea.
It might be a fun opportunity to bring a little Jimmy's Jambox live back. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, but for this next one, go ahead and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. I'm majority on all platforms. And if you can't, find me and let me know, so I will put it on that platform for you.
Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on here while you're on the show?
Shout out to my local artist, It's Griff. That is a collab that I'm actually going to be dropping here soon.
Okay.
That is my boy. And shout out to my team, Cody and Cheeto. We've been rocking for a minute now, trying to get some footage and content out for people. And these are just 3 people that I would speak the highest on of just positivity and just, just getting after it every weekend, guys, So shout out to you guys, man. And if you guys see this and to the followers, give them a follow as well. All love.
All right. Now we've got one last question to go.
Hit me with it.
Before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Oh, you?
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And again, shout out to the Brothers Apothecary. Holidays are coming up. Click the link below. Let's make it happen. And now for the final question. And this is entirely your interpretation. But what is an album that you think not enough people know, but everybody should know? It's that deep cut, but it shouldn't be.
Nipsey Hussle's album.
Okay.
You know what album I'm talking about, right?
I don't drastically know his work, so I should know which one you're talking about.
The Dedication.
Okay.
That album, I feel like a lot of people may know about, but a lot of people should.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad that I don't. So I know exactly what I'm listening to when this is done.
Go ahead.
And y'all should too.
Go ahead and peep that Nipsey album.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Kueso.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap. This is not a podcast. This is a show. Keep jamming.